Hello everyone, this is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. Today is Wednesday, December the 21st, 2011, and just this morning I was out covering a press conference that was held for two Canadians who are taking on the Bank of Canada in the federal courts. I'll read to you, this is a press release that was just put out. It says, two Canadians and a Canadian economic think tank confront the global financial powers in the Canadian Federal Court. The Canadians plead for declarations that would restore the use of the Bank of Canada for the benefit of Canadians and remove it from the control of international private entities whose interests and directives are placed above the interest of Canadians and the primacy of the Constitution of Canada. So basically what they're saying is they want to restore the Bank of Canada to the way it used to be prior to 1974. You see, our bank here is actually public. It was nationalized, and we, the Canadian people, do own our bank. However, even though we have the ability to print our own currency interest-free, we don't do that. We haven't been doing that ever since 1974. And instead, we've been borrowing from private institutions and offshore banks, basically, like the Bank of International Settlements and the International Monetary Fund. So this is a groundbreaking case, really. This could set a precedent, and this could cause a ripple effect. So we're going to be paying a close, keeping a close eye on it, and we'll update you with any more new info that we get on this, because as I said, it's incredibly important. I mean, monetary reform is absolutely key to being able to make any positive changes in the world. So this is good news. This is good news for Canada. We're going to keep a close eye on it, and we just hope that the case goes well. I'm sure it's going to take a little bit of time. These things are often kind of drawn out, and it may take a little while, but the steps are being taken, and we're moving in the right direction. I mean, talk about hacking at the root of the problem, the real issues. You know, if we're borrowing from private banks outside of Canada, then we're not running our own country. The people with the money are. It's like that famous Rothschild quote that goes something to the effect of, you know, give me the power to issue a nation's currency, and I care not who makes the law. Well, that's because the guy with the cash makes all the rules. So until we change that, we won't be running our own country, so it's time to take it back.
Okay, good morning. My name is Rocco Galati. Seated to my immediate left is Emmett, and to her immediate left is Mr. William Krehm. And they're two of the co-plaintiffs in an action that they filed as plaintiffs along with CUMR, the Committee on Monetary and Economic Reform, against the Minister of Finance and the Bank of Canada. The challenge essentially, and this claim was filed on December 12th in the federal court, the challenge essentially is a two-pronged challenge that's set out in the statement of claim, which is self-explanatory, and the details are in there. It challenges the abdication of sovereignty and governance in handing over monetary, financial, and socioeconomic policy through finances to foreign private entities, and a refusal to abide by and implement the terms of Bank of Canada Act with respect to loans, with respect to human capital spending, such as hospital, health, education, and so forth. The consequences of this abdication of sovereignty and refusal to abide by the terms of the Bank of Canada Act is that there's been a increasing gap between the rich and poor, and a quick disappearance of the middle class, and a consequent constitutional violations that are set out in paragraph 47 of the statement of claim. The second part of the second aspect of the challenge constitutionally challenges the government's refusal to publish and set out the actual revenues that are collected or collectible before the transfer back of tax credits before net revenue is calculated and announced every year. This has the effect that the effect of this is that MPs in Parliament and Canadians in general are completely left in the dark about the actual revenues Canada collects every year before the transfer credits go back, with the consequence that no real debate can be had on whether in any particular year a deficit is necessary, and if it's necessary, where the money or loans should come from. This is a constitutional violation that goes to the foundation of our system in terms of the rule of law. Apart from the specific constitutional duty under Section 91(5) of the Constitution Act to maintain accurate statistics, the government has a duty to maintain not only a census but statistics. And if they have to maintain statistics, those statistics have to be accurate. Apart from this, it breaches the underlying constitutional pillars of constitutionalism, rule of law, and democracy, which the Supreme Court of Canada has ruled are constitutional imperatives under our system. And this is required because these revenues have to be set out before the House of Commons exercises its taxing power. Only Parliament can exercise a taxing power in order to provide the funds and expenditures flowing from the speech from the throne. So the taxing power cannot be exercised under our constitutional framework until the expenditures are going to be set out. You can't set out expenditures in isolation without calculating total revenue. This in turn ties back this flaw in the budgetary process. Then comes back because the fallacious numbers that are issued give you a distorted view of what actually is the deficit or isn't the deficit, and how the debt is accumulated in any given year. And it ties back to the issue of that are raised under the Bank of Canada Act and where this money should come from if we need it in any given year. So with that, if you have any questions, either Anne or Bill or myself can try to answer them.
How long do you expect before this case actually comes up in court?
I anticipate that there'll be different junctures at which this case will come up in court. The MO of the government in these cases is always to initially bring a motion to strike, saying that you have no business being here, and if you have business being here, there's no cause of action. If there is a cause of action, you should go home anyway. So they try I anticipate the first step will be the government bringing a motion to strike the entire action, saying that the courts shouldn't get into adjudicating such things as the Constitution. Okay.
For the record, why isn't there a lot of mainstream media here at this press conference?
It's surprising to me. I don't know. Usually they come to these cases where weighty legal and constitutional issues are being challenged in the courts. I can't answer for them, really. I have my suspicions, but as a lawyer I have to deal with facts, not suspicions.